I'm going to be talking about how to pay yourself without guessing and how to do that by building a money system. What I'm going to talk about today is going to talk about who I am, then what is a money system, and then the gaps that can make paying yourself feel really hard, and then how to fix those gaps so that you feel like you can pay yourself. Right, so who I am, I'm Anisha Velasquez. I've been a bookkeeper for the past 4 years for service providers and small business owners who needed help with their bookkeeping and didn't want to do it all by themselves. I'm neurodivergent, and some of my clients are neurodivergent as well, or consider themselves neurodivergent. And um, I came up with this concept of a money system because of my own background with money. So with money growing up, I experienced money stress. Just that feeling that money was there was just never and there wasn't enough. Or just hearing the adults around me talk about how there wasn't enough, or just worrying about it. And so I was the elder sister who, if my younger sisters wanted to buy something or wanted to ask my mom to get something, I would go over and tell them, no, you can't because we don't have enough. They can't pay for it. So I was very aware of money from a young age. And then when I was in high school, the money situation got even tighter to the point that I asked my mom if we could just write it down because I like that money stress in the air, the fogginess, the unclearness. I just wanted to get more clarity on it. And that was the thing I could think of. And so she actually did it. I remember we were at the park. She wrote down the how much we were paying for things like the bill, utilities, rent. She wrote it down on the back of an envelope. And when I looked at the numbers, I just remember the feeling of like, oh, okay, like this is doable. Like it turned that fogginess into something more concrete. And since it was concrete, it felt like we could do something about it. And so that's why I remember that moment because that is one of those first times I finally got clarity around money. And that was really important because then later when I graduated college with my sign language interpreting degree, um, a lot of that work was variable contract freelance income. So I had to figure out really quickly how to pay myself, even if one semester at the college there was just less work given to me. Um, and with like net 30, net 45 invoice payment. Um, you know, even if I took new jobs, I had to figure out how to uh like still pay myself, take care of bills in between new payments. So that's my background with money. And then later on, I learned accounting. And part of the reason for that was just because I spent so much time trying to get clarity around money, trying to figure it out, that I really just wanted to learn the rules and structure around it. And so learning accounting really helped with that because it taught me the language of business, which includes the language of money. And so the other part of this background that's relevant and helpful is the systems part. So I'm going to go to the next tab and talk about what do I mean when I say money system. So systems, I naturally think in systems, and I found this out because I read the book called Thinking in Systems by Donella Meadows. And in that one, it just gives you a good background of what it's like to think in systems and also a great definition of what even is a system. So I feel like this is a word that gets used a lot, especially in business, but it's hard to pin down like what does this actually mean. So when I say system, I'm talking about connected elements that are working together toward a purpose. Um, and so like for your money system, like those elements can be your bookkeeping software. If you're using spreadsheets, your CRM, invoicing software, anything that's touching money in your business. And even it can be people. So like your bookkeeper, or if your admin's helping with receipts, you. So these are all the elements in your system. And then the connected part is this connection. So like accounting role, tax requirements. Um, if you need to, like for your state, like reports you need to send them that were required, like a revenue number. So like that's how all the elements of your money system are connected. And the purpose can be making sure the business has enough cash to keep running, making more of a profit, paying you. Um, yeah, so that's the purpose of the money system. And so when you've got part of your money system, it's unclear or it's missing, then that can cause stress. And on the screen here, I have this picture because when I think about that system, the connected elements specifically for your money system, it's almost like there's two parts to it. And so we've got part one, the tracking the past. And this is what most people know, the bookkeeping, tracking money in and out. But then you also want to make sure you have the second part, which is directing the future. Whereas future, like what's the goal of all the money could be in? Where is it going to go? You can think of this as a budget or money plan, but you need to plan ahead as well. And so each of those track paths will have its own elements, connections, and purpose. The future will have its own elements and the connections between those. And then on the bottom of the picture, you just see the four leaks. I call them the four leaks. They're like the four places money can commonly leak out of your business. And so it can be like through the purchases you're making, through the payments you're receiving, through your performance that you're providing in exchange for those payments, and then through the purpose, which I'll talk about for this particular topic about paying yourself. Okay, so going to the problem that I mentioned. So being able to pay yourself, feeling like you're guessing paying yourself, feeling unsure if you even can or how much to give yourself, or if you are doing it, but it's just not consistently, like maybe one month you do and then you plan to the next month and then realize that for whatever reason you have to like put that money back in business or more. So that's the problem that I'm talking about today. And so from my perspective of a money system, the root cause of this is having the gaps in the system. And so when I say not a you problem, I mean, it's not like you're bad at math, because often we have software helping with the math part. So it's not like you, um, but it's not having that system set up so you have the information you need to pay yourself. So looking at those common reasons, I'm going to go over three of them. And so the first one, then calling a gap in your money system, it's that paying yourself was not planned for when you started your business. So if you just started your business, especially if it started as a side hustle, you might not have planned to pay yourself. Might not have even thought about doing that. And even if you didn't start as a side hustle, sometimes paying yourself seems to come as like a future goal. Like when we start making money, then I'll pay myself, but it's still nebulous. It's not planned for like how much are you going to pay yourself? How will you know how much to pay yourself? And so I have this image here, just like kind of what that looks like. You've got the money coming into the business and then you're paying for all the expenses, but then taxes, owner pay, even savings, that's not really planned into it. And I'm not even talking about taxes or savings specifically, just the owner pay. But those other two are also important to think about. So looking at gap two, you can't see ahead clearly. Income, expenses, just what's coming, it's not clear. So more specifically, you don't know what you need the business to pay you. And that could usually because your personal money system also has a gap. So there's your business money system and then your personal finances. That's a whole other system. And so if that's unclear, then it affects your business and being able to pay yourself. Also for the business, you don't really know how much the business needs to keep itself running, to cover its bills. And so taking money out feels risky or unsafe, or you're not really sure how it's going to affect the business in the future if you take out some money now. And that's what the third point is, like upcoming months. So maybe one month you feel fine paying yourself, and then next month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, you can't have a clear view of what's coming to feel calm about taking money to pay yourself. And then the third gap is I would say this one's probably the most simple one, is that you just don't actually know how to move the money to pay yourself. This is a question I hear a lot too. Like, what do I do? Like, do I just transfer the money out of the account? Like, what's okay? Um, and this I would say is just no one really talks about this. And so it's a problem I hear and I have to answer for other business owners. Okay, so going to the solution, you already know I'm talking about money systems. So I think the solution is fixing the gaps in that money system. And I put the picture here again, just as a reminder. But you want to fix the gap so you can see the full picture. For the track the past, since it's uh, money in and out that's already happened, you can get a full picture. But for directing the future, the goal there is to get as much of the picture as possible because the future it hasn't happened yet. So we're predicting. You just want to get as close as possible using the information you already have. All right, so going specifically into fixing gap one, you want to fix that leak of that your pay wasn't built into the business from the get-go. So you want to change that and fix it. And you can think of it as paying yourself first, claiming your pay for, if you know the profit first method, it does talk about this as well. But basically, every dollar that's coming in, you want to set aside a certain percentage. That's an easy way to do it. Um, and like what this looks like for each business might look a little different, but this is the general like process behind what you're doing. And so I have this little diagram here. So we've got the money coming in the business, and then we've got your owner's pay right there. Also taxes. I'm putting this in the picture as well. And then we've got your business expenses still, but it's not taking all the money like it was when I was showing the other picture of the money in and out. And then we've also got the savings too. So you just want to fix and give all your money a purpose, and specifically a purpose to pay yourself. And then if you find that if setting aside a percentage of the revenue coming in means you don't have enough to pay for all your business expenses, that could be a purchase leak, or maybe there's just your expenses need to be looked into and managed. And maybe you have too many expenses for your revenue. Quite often it can be a pricing problem. So maybe your prices aren't accounting for all the work and the costs involved in earning that revenue. And so that's what I would call a performance leak, and you would want to work on that. But so this is how to fix gap one, fix that purpose leak, give your money a purpose, and make sure you actually plan to pay yourself. So it happened. All right, so for fixing gap two, remember if we can't see ahead far enough, then taking money out feels unsafe for the future of your business. So we want to build that financial picture just enough so we can make good decisions. And so as I mentioned, for the money system, we want to track the past and direct the future. So we want to track the past so we know where the money went to, how much did it come in, where did it come from, where did it go. And then using that, we can look at our patterns to see, is there a time of the year where it's busier, slower, and is that regular so we can plan ahead for it. When do you have big expenses, like maybe some annual payment? When are those due so you can plan ahead and have money for that in the bank when it's time to pay for it? And that's part of the directing the future. So when you know what's happened before and it's going to happen again, you can plan for it. And that way you know money coming out and then how much is coming in. And when you have your own pay planned into that, then you'll know, okay, I'm going to take out this much for myself. This much needs to go out for expenses. I'm saving this much for taxes, this much for savings, and then how much is left. And if that number is not positive, then you'll know ahead of time so you can decide what to do. And so that's That's what you need to build enough of your picture. And it usually starts with tracking the past. That way you know the patterns and can better predict what's coming up. Okay, so for fixing gap 3, the one about you just don't know the logistics, like how do I actually pay myself, like get the money out to pay myself? So this depends. So of course, when in doubt, ask your accountant, the one who's working with you and knows your business setup. But how the money moves depends on your business setup. So like the entity, um, so if you are just a sole proprietor, or maybe you have set up an LLC and you're just the one person, then typically you can just take the money out in a bank transfer to like transfer it from your business account to your personal account. And then you have paid yourself. Um, for if you have decided to set up an S corporation or you're being taxed as an S corporation, again, check with your accountant to be certain. But if you have a corporation, as an S corp specifically, I'm talking about, then you do need to be on payroll. And what that means is you need to be paying payroll taxes um, when you're taking money out. Again, there's some other nuances. Let your accountant take care of those. But the main difference between these two is that for the sole proprietor, single member LLC, we're not paying payroll taxes when you take money out of your business. But for the S corporation, you are typically. That is the main non-accountant person difference. Okay. All right. So those were the 3 gaps that we fixed, that we talked about how to fix. And just to go back over those again, so fixing the purpose leak, make sure you plan to pay yourself so it happens. Fixing gap 2, make sure you build your financial picture so you can see far ahead enough to know what's coming, to feel more calm about your money decisions. And then for gap 3, just learn the logistics, like how to actually transfer the money out. So you are paying yourself in a way that fit with how your business is set up. Okay, and so the goal for this is just to help bring clarity to your money system so you can pay yourself consistently, so you can stop feeling like you're guessing all the time, and so you can just make calm decisions. And so that calm clarity is really important because then you can make decisions from a place of proactiveness, from planning ahead best for your business. And so you can move from putting out fires, all the stress where you can't think clearly, to that moment I had back in high school on the park bench when I just saw the numbers and thought, oh, this is doable. We can do something about this. Like you want to be in that mode, and then that'll help you get your business to where you want it to go. If you'd like to stay in touch, you can check out my newsletter, Peaceful Pocket. Also, you can follow me on LinkedIn or just visit my website to check out blog posts. I try to put resources on there. And then if you want, you can scan this QR code, and that just it goes to all the links. That way you can just see everything in one go. So hopefully that's helpful. Thanks for watching this. And yeah.